to the second day of the event. And we also have Patoto in here. We also have Buloli. And of course, Alfonso Campo Martinez, Chief Justice, National Electoral Council of Colombia, and member of the Governing Council. Ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished guests, please make sure that you are sitting in the assigned seat because we're going to start the event very shortly. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good morning and welcome to the second day of the Scientific Committee and the Governing Council of the Global Network on Electoral Justice 2023's closing event. Please give a big round of applause for all of us. I hope you enjoyed the festival yesterday. How was it, Bapak Ibu? Awesome, amazing, even though the rain is pouring, but I'm sure it's still romantic because we're in Bandung. There is a quote that said that Bandung is created when God smiles. Don't you think so? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after yesterday, we had the first session. The first day, we witnessed the opening ceremony by using angklung, the majestic angklung, and we also proceed the first panel session with the topic on understanding polarization, and of course, followed by the second panel session titled Assessing the Impact on Electoral Integrity. And today, we're going to have two panel sessions, the third and also the fourth panel session, that will be moderated by amazing moderator and of course, remarkable speaker. So my name is Mayfree Shari and I'll give it to the moderator for today's session. The third panel session would be talking about case studies from around the world. So hopefully later on we're going to have the broader views about how the speaker will present studies from various parts of the world, offering a comparative analysis and also highlighting unique challenges and solutions while doing the election. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please give a big round of applause for our moderator for the third panel session, who is Puspa Puspita from the Election Supervisory Agency of the Republic of Indonesia, or Bawaslu. Puspa Puspita.
Should have checked the mic first. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of our discussion on the impact of polarization on electoral integrity, challenges and solutions for electoral organizers. Before we begin, I'd like to give a little bit of a cultural taste for our distinguished guests from other countries, Indonesian culture, by delivering a pantun. Please give me a good reaction. Jalan-jalan ke alun-alun. Pulangnya mampir ke Lembang. Selamat datang di Bandung. Semoga pulang dengan kesan mendalam. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I am privileged to have the opportunity to be the moderator of this session. As we have understanding polarization and assessing its impact on electoral integrity, we are moving forward today with learning from case studies from all around the world. Now, let me introduce our esteemed panel of experts who will share their insights on this vital topic. Firstly, we have distinguished political analysts with expertise in European electoral systems. Please welcome Professor Jean-Philippe Desrochers from the Law Department of the University of Lille in France. Please, sir, come to the stage. Next, joining us is an expert on American politics with a focus on recent electoral challenges. Please welcome Mr. Alfonso Campo Martinez, the Chief Justice of the National Electoral Council of Colombia, and also the President of the Global Network on Electoral Justice for the next term. Lastly, we are very honored to have an expert with deep knowledge on electoral systems in emerging democracies. Please welcome Commissioner of Bawaslu, Mr. Puadi. Please welcome to the stage, sir. Our panel today will provide valuable insights into the impact of polarization on electoral integrity by presenting case studies from various parts of the world. Through a comparative analysis, our distinguished speakers will shed light on unique challenges and innovative solutions employed by different regions and cases to navigate through the complexities of polarization in their electoral processes. Each panelist will deliver the speech for 20 minutes, and then we will have a feedback session for 30 minutes. So, without further ado, let us begin with our first speaker, Professor Jean-Philippe Desrochers. Please, sir, time is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very happy to be here in Bandung for the last meeting we have here in Indonesia under the presidency of Bawaslu. And it's a great honor to have been working with Bawaslu during these 2 years of presidency, to welcome Bawaslu in Paris last month, 2 months ago actually, in December. Y también es un placer de empezar a trabajar con Colombia y el Consejo Nacional Electoral. Mucho gusto conocerlo, presidente, aquí en Bandung, Indonesia. Let's switch in English again. Democracy is the power and the government of the people, as everyone knows, of the people, by the people, for the people. And to run a government in a democracy, you need a majority. This is very specific to the democracy because when you have an autocracy, an aristocracy, you don't need a majority. One voice is enough to decide. But when you introduce a democratic system, the plurality, the power of the citizens, you need the majority. You cannot run a democracy only with unanimity, because unanimity is much less democratic than it seems. It's much less democratic than the majority system. If you require unanimity, one person can stop the decision, and this is not democratic. To get a majority, you need polarization. You need elements to build this majority, to make this majority possible. If the political scene, the political area is split into many, many forces, political parties that cannot make themselves an agreement, then you don't have the majority and you can't get a decision. And this is not democratic neither, because if you don't have a decision possible, then you don't have a government. So an efficient democratic system requires elements, might it be political or legal, that make this majority possible. The first element is a legal one and is the electoral system, the electoral rulings. Thanks to the electoral rulings, you can make a majority easier or harder to get. And I will start, this will be my first point, fighting again a general, a common idea about electoral system. In Europe, the most frequent electoral system we have is the proportional one. Considering that the proportional system is more democratic because it respects the plurality of the political scene. And this is not true. The proportional system is much less democratic than the majority system. Majority system that exists in France, in United Kingdom, but not in the other countries. Why that? How could a system that seems to be more efficient in reflecting the diversity of the opinions of the people be less democratic than another one that will less reflect this diversity? With the proportional system, each party has a chance to be elected, to get some elected people. So they go to the election. Some big parties get a high number of elected persons. Others get less, 2, 3, 4 elected only. And after the election, the parties try to make an agreement, to get a coalition, to build a majority. This is what happened in Spain, in Germany, in Italy, in every country where we have this proportional system. The alliances, the agreements, the coalition are built after the election, not before. And often, this alliance, this coalition, is built against the will of the electors. Let's take an example. Germany, 2017, September, 6 years ago. There were elections for the Bundestag, the National Assembly of Germany. these elections happened at the end of what we call in Germany a big coalition. Big coalition is an alliance between the Christian Democrats, the right, it's the party of Angela Merkel, who was the chancellor, the prime minister at this time, and the Social Democrat, the left, who were allied to the right. And it's called big coalition because generally they are in opposition. It was a 4-year period of a government of these two parties together, and at the end of this period, the left, the Social Democrat, make the campaign, all the campaign, with one big point. Never again we will make an alliance with the Christian Democrat, with the right. Never again. Elections, result of the elections, no one has a majority. What happened 3 months afterwards? Alliance between the Christian Democrat and the Social Democrat, between the right and the left. Exactly against what the party promised to the electors. Other example, Italy, March 2018, few months after my first example, exactly the same. One of the right parties, called the League, La Lega, made a campaign saying we will never make a coalition with the five-star movement, Movimento 5 Stelle, which is a party of the left, more or less. And this party, the five-star movement, said exactly the same. Never will we make an alliance with the League. What happened after the elections? You're not an expert of Italy, perhaps, but I'm sure you already know. After the election, the two first parties were the League and the five-star movement, and they built a government together, exactly against what they said to the electors. We don't have such a situation with the majority system. Why not? Because to get elected with the majority system, you need to make alliances, but before the election, you need to make agreements with the other parties to know who is going in which constituency. If you don't do that, if every party goes to the election, they can't be elected. Because the voices of the votes of the electors are splitted. And it's another one to get the majority. So you make the alliances, the coalition, before the election, and it's put to the agreement of the electors that can vote. Might they agree or disagree with the alliance you are offering, but they can vote on it. And as you have alliances before the election, after that, generally, you may get to a majority. This was my first point. The proportional system is less democratic than the majority one. Now let's see how the European countries find solutions to improve, to make the majority, the polarization, easier to get. As I said, most of the European countries are using the proportional system, like Germany, like Spain, like Greece, like Italy. Fact is that in the last years, those very famous countries, famous for their electoral system, famous for their stable governments, don't get a majority. Lastly, we could see it in Spain, as Pedro Sanchez went to the elections. And surprisingly, he won the election. Surprisingly, because the polls were not very good for him. But he won the election, but he didn't get a majority. And he had to make an alliance with the Catalan parties, which were independentists, autonomists, and did this kind of revolution a couple of years ago with Carles Puigdemont. And one point of the agreement was to vote and pass the amnesty for the independentists who were prosecuted because they started this revolution. At this point, the amnesty has not been submitted to the electors, and there is quite a strong disagreement with this point. Anyway, the ways that are used to make a majority easier to get are, for example, the bonus, the electoral bonus that the first party can have when you won the election. Electoral bonus is when you when you win the election, you are the first party. Even if you don't have the absolute majority, you get the absolute majority in the assembly. The electoral system provides you a bonus to get this absolute majority. Like in Greece, for example, if you are the first party, you get 50 seats of the assembly automatically, and it's only the rest of the assembly that it is splitted according to the result. The same is happening in France at the local level. For example, in the municipalities, the first party gets 50% of the seats of the municipal assembly. So he is sure to get the majority. Another system is like the German one, so-called mixed system. Mixed because it is additioning proportional and majority. But actually, Germany and also Italy, that is also using a mixed system, are very proportional system. Very proportional because electors have two votes. One vote who is for a party and another one who is for a person. And this is why we think it's mixed, because when you vote for a person, it's considered